Recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM and broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games. With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes, Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEVGamesAU.
You're listening to Z Games. My name is Evie, and I'm here with
Ronnie.
And Paul.
Woo!
It's a party.
It's a
something like that.
Something. It's a something.
It's something.
I got too excited because I'm so used to it being kind of semi-cold that I was like, it's really hot lately, so I'm gonna wear shorts and t-shirt. Now I'm in studio. I'm freezing. I preempted summer too soon in the studio, I think.
I mean, it was really hot outside, but
It's 30 degrees yesterday.
Always bring a jumper when you come into studio.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Paul's like,
I'm fine. I run hot.
I'm a hot stuff over here.
And I'm in I'm in an actual jacket. It's fine.
Well, we have an action-packed episode today. There is a lot happening, and there has been a lot happening since the last time we all heard each other and spoke to you guys out there. The news is going to be epic, but after the news, we will have a segment which is a discussion between Rani, Paul, and myself about Xbox Series X and other Xbox things versus PlayStation 5. I'm sure a lot of people are figuring out what console they want to get. There's a new generation come out. What do we do about it? I don't know much. Well, we're going to try the best we can to fill some gaps with our very important and experienced opinions.
Important air quotes.
Air quotes.
I noticed you didn't mention the Atari VCS.
Also,
Yes. Well,
It's only $100 more than
I
both
guess-
the other two.
whoever wins versus Xbox versus PlayStation goes to the final
Yeah,
against Atari.
if you can't get a pre-order on the others, there's Atari's always there.
Waiting very patiently. After that, we then have a review from Paul on Killer Paradise.
Paradise Killer.
Paradise Killer. What the heck? I can't even.
Close enough. The words were there.
you're too cold to think.
Yeah, I
properly.
know. I'm
Yeah,
a mess.
it's fine.
Anyway, that's the episode today. I think we should get right into the news though, because there is quite a lot to talk about. So
Here we go.
let's do it. This week in gaming news, Bethesda and Xbox team up. That's right, the creators of The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, and Doom, as well as many, many more, have entered into an agreement to take over ZeniMax Media, which is the parent company of Bethesda Softworks. Microsoft purchased ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion in cash on Monday, which makes it the biggest gaming acquisition in Microsoft's history, which well and truly surpasses that time when Microsoft purchased Mojang, the creators of Minecraft, for $2.5 billion. Gaming is the most expensive category in the entertainment industry, as people everywhere turn to gaming to connect, socialize, and play with their friends. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said, Microsoft will gain 8 more creative studio teams, adding the over 2,300 staff of Bethesda to the mix. Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, has said, like us, Bethesda are passionate believers in building a diverse array of creative experiences, in exploring new game franchises, and in telling stories in bold ways. All of their great work will of course continue and grow, and we look forward to empowering them with the resources and support of Microsoft to scale their creative visions to more players in new ways for you. Michel Ancel, the game designer behind Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil, leaves game development. That's right, after more than 30 years, Ancel has posted on Instagram saying, I've decided to stop working on video games and fully focus on my second passion, wildlife. My new project takes place in the real world and consists in a wildlife open sanctuary dedicated to education, nature lovers, and wild animals. He goes on to reassure fans that the games Wild and Beyond Good and Evil 2 will be taken care of by the teams at Autonomous. Guillaume Brunner, the senior producer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, said in a statement, For years, Michel imparted his creative vision and helped us remain faithful to BG&E's incredible universe. His uncompromising passion pushed us to redefine what was possible in crafting an expansive, multicultural, and futuristic science fiction world. As we move forward, we are all committed to remaining true to this vision. GCAP 20 begins on Monday, 5th of October. Games Connect Asia Pacific is Australia's premier professional development and networking event for game development, specialising in all different types of disciplines. This year, GCAP's tickets are only $2, with 100% of that $2 being donated to the Ready Foundation, which is a non-profit company that aims to assist in relieving poverty, suffering, distress, or misfortune experienced by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander young people and other disadvantaged youth. The event will be hosted virtually during Melbourne International Games Week, and there will be a variety of talks over the course of 3 days. If you'd like to attend or would like some more information, head over to the Zed Games Facebook page at ZEDGamesAU for the link. That's all this week in gaming news.
There you have it. There's a lot happening in the news.
So many things.
Ubisoft taking a big hit, also losing Michel now.
Yeah, Michel is one of my heroes in gaming. He's a wonderful man. He also might be the most prolific person left at Ubisoft that hasn't been involved in any scandals.
Left? You mean he's
Well,
gone?
He's gone now. He's like they could always have held him. Go, hey, this beautiful Frenchman that just makes lovely things and loves animals and doesn't. Oh, he's gone now.
Creator of Rayman,
Yeah.
possibly the cutest platformer there is.
And because he did leave Ubisoft and then they sort of pulled him back in because he was making that other game Wild.
Yes,
which is all. Yeah, it's wild. I don't know what he says. Both projects are still on track. Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Wild.
We've been reassured in some
way.
way.
I don't know how much I trust what that means without his leadership. But he's a fun, friendly fella.
Look,
I wish him the best.
He wants to go be out there in the real world, and I think there's kind of like a subtle little thing to do with my new project take place in the real world, as if to sort of go, I'm shifting away from this.
Did you see the video he posted?
I did with the fox.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Yeah, he didn't say anything in the video. He just had, I'm working with wildlife and I've got this little fox behind me. It's stealing a bag of chips.
It was, well, good luck to him.
Foxes.
All the best from Zed Games and from Paul.
Yeah.
If you happen to hear this, Michelle.
Yeah. But then, of course, the Microsoft acquisition of ZeniMax, all of Bethesda, which is probably the biggest acquisition I have ever heard of in gaming.
Well, it is the biggest acquisition in Microsoft's history. $7.5 billion in cash. Take my money.
That is a lot of money.
I mean,
I suppose it's not to them.
I can't even comprehend that kind of money, so,
When I heard about the sale, I expected a little bit more, but either way, it's a bucket of money that I can't really comprehend. It's beyond my understanding.
More like a trash can.
It's a trash can of money.
It's
on fire.
It's
not
a
on fire.
dumpster fire of money.
No,
Except
much.
you can't set their money on fire, really, because it'll actually burn and disappear.
I mean, I saw actually a Twitter post. I can't remember who posted it, but they said something along the lines of, in regards to Bethesda and Microsoft, and saying how amazing this is for accessibility, because when you can get Bethesda games on the Xbox Game Pass, it means that people who are differently abled can actually purchase games and actually see if they can actually play them before spending the money up front. And sort of losing that.
Yeah, that's good.
So
and
like this is a huge...
Microsoft's also been spearheading their whole accessibility controller stuff for the last 5 years or so.
Yes.
Where it's really, people look at it and say, "Oh, isn't it expensive?" Because it's like $200 or something to start. It's like, you don't understand how expensive this hardware is normally. That's the cheapest stuff you've ever been able to get. All their stuff's totally remappable and everything. So yeah, it's really good on that side. But yeah, Microsoft owns Doom now.
Which is
weird.
Really weird to think about.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a meme speaking of Doom, that I will probably post on the Zed Games Facebook page at some point, which is someone's partner found like the Doom CD lying around, or for the Xbox on the floor somewhere, and went up to her partner and was like, "Hey, is this your game? Wood?" It's just like, oh yeah,
wood.
Doom Upside Down literally looks like wood.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Great game. Anyway, that's some pretty epic news this week. GCAP, don't forget to grab your ticket. $2. It's going towards a good cause. Definitely do that. Something else that's coming up to put in your diaries, save this date, the 19th to the 20th of February 2021 will be BlizzCon Online, or BlizzConline.
I don't know. They've sort of worded it weirdly to me.
Conline.
Conline?
Conline? Yeah.
Conline.
So yeah, join them for a brand new BlizzCon digital experience, which will be early next year. Don't forget to write that down.
Yeah.
I am keen.
You can watch it on your phone if you've got one of those.
Yeah.
A little bit of Blizzard humor.
Phone? Blizzard. Diablo, did you say? All right, we're now... Be prepared. We're going to have a long discussion about Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. We're going to do a bit of a comparison. Take some notes. Get a pen and paper, people. I mean, don't need to do
Unless
that.
you're
We've done that
driving,
for you.
please don't do that.
Yeah, definitely don't if you're driving. Take a mental note if you're driving. Okay, so I will start off by... I just want to go through some of the specs because I know some people care about this sort of stuff. I'm not a huge person on the specs, but there are actually some subtle differences between the two. And if that matters to you, then I will be glad that I'm going through them. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, cool. So PlayStation 5 is $749.95, so $750, and that's for the full version. If you want a digital version, which just basically doesn't have the disc drive, and it also doesn't have 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, that's $600 Australian dollars. The Xbox Series X is $800 Australian dollars, so it's a bit more. But you do get a little bit more with it in the sense of performance. So the PlayStation 5 is supposed to be released on November 12th, 2020. And then Xbox Series X will be November the 10th. So they're obviously coming out at the same time. I'm sure they plan this stuff seriously. There are Xbox exclusives and there are also PlayStation 5 exclusives. So PlayStation 5 ones are Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Horizon 2 Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and I think there's also Fable 4. Oh no, is Fable 4?
No, Fable 4 we haven't
Fable
even seen a single screen shot of.
We haven't seen anything.
It's
for
not
that
coming
yet.
out for ages.
Who knows when that's coming? Xbox Series X exclusives are Halo Infinite, Hellblade 2, Forza Motorsports 8, and State of Decay 3. So the good thing is with Xbox Series X, and it's a huge difference from PlayStation 5, is the backwards compatibility. So PlayStation 5 have almost all PlayStation 4 games, including optimized PlayStation 4 games, only the pro titles. Xbox Series X, however, have all Xbox One games, select 360 games, and all original Xbox games backwards compatible. That is pretty impressive. So that's if you want to like play something that you haven't played in years. I'm talking like childhood years. You could still do that on the new Xbox Series X. CPU, they're both identical, pretty much. I mean, PlayStation 5 is an 8-core Zen 2 3.5, and then the Xbox Series X is 3.8, so it's only slightly better. GPU is 10.3 teraflops on the PlayStation 5 and 12 teraflops on the Series X. RAM, 16 gigabytes for both of them. Storage, about 1 terabyte SSD drives, and then the resolutions are the same, up to 8K, and frame rates are also the same, 120 FPS. So yeah, and they both handle 4K Ultra HD. So there's your specs on... You want to go Microsoft or Sony? There you go. There's your decision there. Xbox also have Xbox Series S, which is a smaller version, and it doesn't take any CD disc or anything. It's $500 Australian dollars. It's half the storage size, so it's about 500 gigabytes. It won't do 4K, but everything else is virtually the same. And it's also a lot smaller,
Yeah,
so it's a lot more
bit
compact.
smaller.
It's more like a portable, kind of like a GameCube, just not as cute. And not nearly, like, I guess the GameCube is nowhere near as
It's
powerful
also
as that. So,
it's
but-
also white, I think. I don't think you can get it in a different color.
You can't?
I don't think
Ah.
so. I haven't seen it come in the black like the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen the Xbox Series X, what it actually looks like in terms of design, it's just like this black
Just a monolith.
rectangular cube.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's a rectangle. It's not really a cube. It's quite like...
It's just a
Like
tower.
a tower, yeah.
essentially,
And so is the PlayStation 5, except it makes me think of like it's got Dracula collar. The
Well,
PlayStation 5.
A lot of people said it was like, oh, do you want a trash can or do you want a Wi-Fi modem?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Pretty
so,
Yep.
so that's like the PS5 looks a lot like a Wi-Fi modem might, and then the Xbox is a box.
Did I
Just
hear
a
you
box.
saying there that... Did you say one of them was 800?
$800.
Yeah, I thought...
$799 for the Xbox Series X.
I think they're both 750, aren't they?
Are
I'm gonna
they?
look
I'm
it
pretty
up.
sure because they deliberately match prices.
Well, I'm
It'll
getting that
probably
wrong.
vary
If that's the
from
case.
That's all right.
retailer
I just
to
thought
retailer.
I'd clarify. Yeah, it's $7.50.
Yeah, $7.50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because basically Microsoft came out with the prices, and then 1 week later we got Sony's announcements, and Sony's stuff was probably going to be much more expensive.
It literally says they're the same price in front of me. I'm just like blind.
That's all right. I just thought to clarify for people listening. Yeah. So basically, Microsoft's relatively cheap price for what this generation could have been stopped Sony from making it even more expensive. They said, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to price match now." Because,
But it's
our
interesting
stuff's-
to me because from a tech spec, like the actual specifications of the two consoles, the Series X is actually better.
See, that's where
Marginally.
this gets weird because on
depends
straight
on
up
what you're
power,
looking at.
straight up power on teraflops, Xbox is more powerful. When it comes to architecture and how these things actually work, Sony has gone and made quite a unique piece of hardware.
Right.
Which is, this isn't the platform to go into that. If you're interested in that, there's an excellent talk that Mark Cerny did early in the year talking about their pipeline with the SSD. They've done a lot of research in it. So it is, whilst a slower machine on straight specs, it is capable of doing things that the Xbox can't do. So on the whole, everything's going to be pretty on par.
Yeah.
Multi-platform titles might run a bit better on the Xbox. That's talking about the X, not the S, which is going to run them. I don't know. This is where this generation gets confusing already. Hey, on another thing, the Xbox pre-orders went up today, and it saw a rise in sales of the Xbox One X, and the speculation is people were just confused.
Interesting.
I can
and
see how
unfortunate.
you would be
Yeah.
because at least with like Sony's naming is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
The latest generation is the higher number.
Yeah, you got a 5, you got a 5, and you got a digital version that doesn't have a drive, and otherwise they're the same. Xbox has
X and S.
a wide
and
gamut.
They already have the Xbox One S.
Yes,
And X,
they've got
don't
the
they?
One X and the S,
Yeah.
and the One X puts enhancements on Xbox One games. But if you get the Xbox Series S, it won't run the enhancements that the One X runs. And already I just go, oh no.
It's too confusing.
Yeah, my head hurts.
Yeah, it's not that confusing, but if you put it all together, it seems bad. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, Microsoft stuff is a way of accessing Game Pass.
Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
on the fidelity you want that stuff to look.
So this next part that I sort of want to jump into a little bit with the release of both of these consoles is game accessibility and, you know, those exclusives, right? So for me personally, and I've spoken about this on the show before, I don't really feel a personal desire to get an Xbox Series X because I have Xbox Game Pass. So any of those exclusive games that are for the X Series, I can access on my PC. But you have to have a Microsoft PC to make that work, right?
Yeah.
So I'm more likely to buy a PlayStation 5 because I can get everything Xbox is doing on my computer and
Yep.
then get the PlayStation exclusives on my PlayStation.
And that's my same thinking as well. Like I used to have an Xbox and as of like before the show started, I got the Game Pass because the only games that I want to play that are going to have that sort of exclusive thing are going to be the PlayStation ones because I can get them on my PC and they're going to run a lot better on my PC than on an Xbox. And sort of when you look at how much I spent on my PC over those years, it's probably the same amount of money.
Yep.
And so what's the point in buying a console that's going to match what my PC does?
Yeah, because
And I can upgrade my PC. And then
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
I
You
can.
can.
It's
When you want
customizable.
and with the new 30 series cards, it's cheaper than ever to get amazing performance. Well, if
Yeah.
you can find one. But also, Rani and I, you and I have both pre-ordered PS5s.
Yes.
And I don't think any of us have looked at pre-ordering the Xbox, but that's just because we all have capable PCs.
Yeah.
Because we're all fully invested in this Game Pass future. That is the if you can only do one thing this next generation, the choice is to find any way of accessing Game Pass because it is by far, and we're not paid by Microsoft, it's just the best value for money that's
Well,
ever been in gaming.
Right
basically.
now it's $1.
It's $1 to subscribe. So just to get a bit of perspective on this, it's $1 per month for the first 2 months. After that, I think it's about $5. And what you get access to is pretty much every Microsoft like AAA game
They're
for
everywhere.
free
It's all there.
to play. We're talking like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, including which the new one's
The
coming out.
new
Forza
Assassin's
Horizon.
Creed won't be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think I need to quit my university degree. So
Well,
I can have some more
and
time.
we mentioned it last week, the whole payment model that you can do with Xbox. So you could get Xbox One S, Series S. Ugh, I'm
Series
already-
S, yeah.
Series S for $33 a month for 2 years. And that gives you the console and Ultimate, which is all the Xbox games and the games that they have on the PC Game Pass, all for $33 a month, which is, if that's a teenager or something that's earning an allowance, they could earn $33 a month or something.
Oh, yeah.
They could afford to do that without having the outlay. It's hard to argue against. That said,
it's cheaper than Netflix.
PlayStation 5 is
legit.
Going to have some cool stuff. And it's about, I don't know any exclusives that are launching on the Xbox Series X anymore. Everything's been delayed. Halo's not till next year.
PlayStation.
Nothing else we said is going to... PlayStation has...
Spider-Man, Hogwarts.
No, Hogwarts isn't launched. No, and it's not exclusive either. So it's got Demon's Souls, the remake, which looks phenomenal. It's got Miles Morales. It's got the Sackboy Adventures, and it also comes with the Astrobot pack-in, and Destruction All-Stars, which is like a Destruction Derby game where you can get out of the car. I don't know if it's going to be worth, because it's a full-price game. It's a online multiplayer game, so I think it's a mistake. But it looks cool. I hope it's good.
I honestly,
the
only thing that had ever made me consider getting a PlayStation when I had an Xbox was the Spider-Man game.
It's very good.
And that's just
it for
because
me.
I am a diehard. Like, I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man has been my favorite superhero since I was a kid.
Same.
So it's like, that was the thing where I was like, I want a PlayStation. But it was also the thing that made me really angry at exclusives. And same with, like, Red Dead. I was really grumpy because I was like, I have this beautiful gaming PC and the games I really want to play, I can't play on.
And we want to give them money, right? It's kind of like, I will pay. I will happily pay you for that game.
And now Microsoft also gets to add all the Bethesda stuff we were mentioning earlier.
Yes.
The next Elder Scrolls, the Starfield,
Dishonored.
the game before that, they are likely, like they said they will look at other consoles, and depending on the market they might still put them on PlayStation, but there's no reason to expect that. But we will know they will be on Game Pass day one.
Yep.
All right, well, if you had to choose between, well, I mean, this is going to sound pretty
What, two people that have already bought one of them?
Okay, but if you had to choose between an Xbox and PS5, what would you choose, Ronnie?
I'm gonna have to go with the PS5.
I mean, you pre-ordered.
Yeah, I did pre-order it, and that's the other thing is, like, I do still have the PC and I have the Switch, and that's the thing, like, by the time I get to exclusive level, like, PS5 is the only one where I have access to all exclusive things.
Yeah, the things that you want, the exclusives that you want to access. Yeah,
it's mostly PlayStation.
What about you, Paul?
It's definitely PlayStation because of the exact same reasons Ronnie said. I already have access to all the other stuff, and the Xbox hardware doesn't offer me anything. The interesting thing about the PlayStation hardware will be exploited by their first-party titles, and they should be incredible when they start coming out in the next couple of years.
That's
the
true.
Early stuff will be good, but it will be like what we're expected. They'll be able to do some interesting things with it. If you look at the new Ratchet and Clank, just the way they can shift between environments in half a second is something you couldn't have done last generation.
Okay.
So they can play around with that. It's going to offer me a more unique experience, but it is more expensive.
My suggestion would be, depending on whether you've got a console before as well. If you don't have a gaming PC, I probably think Xbox Series X is actually probably more up your alley, because you're going to have access to more things, and this partnership between Microsoft and Bethesda means you're going to have extra goodness. So if you're coming into this from a new console games, I've never played console games before, but when I get into it, Xbox Series X is definitely for you. If, however, you got a PC, maybe look at PlayStation 5 if you really want to.
Just a small caveat that we don't really mention because it's not that applicable to us, but for new people on the PlayStation in PS Plus that you subscribe to, they have just added a vault. So pretty much any PS4 game of note, any of their big hits is available for you to play if you're on PlayStation Plus.
That's right.
It is not good for people that already had a PS4, but good for anyone coming in new.
Yes.
You can also look for, with both their sort of subscription services, like Microsoft or PlayStation, you can look for deals. Like, there will always be deals going as to, like, how much you can spend on that. People have picked up the PlayStation subscription for hardly anything.
Yeah. Actually, if you're looking for more information on subscriptions, design, all the stuff between Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, head over to the Zed Games Facebook page at ZED Games AU. There will be a link there that sort of details a bit more about the decisions you can make and which one you'd like to purchase. Currently, both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are pretty much sold out until next year. So if you did want to pre-order, you're going to have to wait a little while. But we thought we'd cover it anyway.
Don't pay scalpers.
Yeah, don't do that.
Look, if you're set on getting one, it's worth just putting the pre-order in anyway.
Yes, if you can get a hold of one, good luck to you, because I missed out. You're listening to Zed Games, and we're coming up to the last segment of the show tonight, where Paul is going to be doing a review of Paradise Killer.
That's the correct order of the words, yes.
Take it away.
Paradise Killer. The first word I've written in my review here is wow. I decided to keep it in because it felt good. What a game. From one of the minds behind 50 Cent Blood in the Sand comes a murder mystery in a world of gods, the immortal beings who want to resurrect them, human sacrifice, and really chill vibes. You are Lady Love Dies, an investigator for the Paradise Psycho Unit, who has been in exile for 3 million days due to her consorting with a demon, which led to the destruction of Paradise Island 13. I might be jumping a few steps here. So, a group of immortal cultists, known as the Syndicate, built the first island paradise in order to raise long-dormant gods from the cosmos. They do this by kidnapping humans and forcing them to worship these gods, which has the unfortunate side effect of also attracting demons. When the island becomes corrupted by said demons, the Syndicate builds a new island, murders all the civilians, and moves on, hoping the next island will work out. The game starts at the end of Island 24, with the population already sacrificed, and the remaining inhabitants about to move on to what is said to be finally the perfect island. Perfect 25. That isn't, of course, until someone murders the entire ruling council, and you, Lady Love Dies, is brought back from exile to investigate. Paradise Killer is an extremely unique game. At its heart, it's a murder mystery, where you lead on an investigation and end the game with a trial. You may draw comparisons with Danganronpa or even Phoenix Wright, but it has some major deviations from the formula of those games, freedom being the most notable. The game is first-person and open world. You are free to explore the island however you want, talking to any character and investigating any area you desire. The game certainly gives you direction with a well-detailed journal that automatically updates as you discover clues, but you are generally left to follow your own whims. There is another major unique aspect of the game, but I'm going to leave that until later in the review. Exploring the world is very physical, running and jumping around. You get mobility upgrades, and soon you'll be leaping between buildings to find secrets and currency, which you'll use for fast travel and various upgrades. This paces the game well. As you initially explore, you won't have enough currency to waste on fast traveling, encouraging you to continue exploring. While in the later part of the game, you'll be slogging back and forth across the island, cross-examining witnesses. You'll be flush with cash, and so it's no big deal. The island is quite big, especially the city area that has a lot of nooks and crannies to investigate. The game has a very simple trick to direct your eye to what's important, though. To go with the 80s vaporware aesthetic, pretty much everything important is neon pink. You're unlikely to miss anything when walking through the abandoned streets. And you'll do this all to a vaporwave soundtrack, which really sets a chill mood. You can collect extra songs as you explore. You can even edit the game's playlist. Sick of a track? Just get rid of it. All the characters are delightful billboarded sprites with fun, colourful designs, striking some very alluring poses much of the time. They also have the best names. Witness to the End, Sam Daybreak, Dr. Doom Jazz, and Crimson Acid, just to name a few.
Crimson Acid.
All the characters are fleshed out, even the skeleton. And while the game isn't fully voice acted, they all have character barks while you speak to them, and it really gives you a good idea of their nature. For all of its outlandish design and setup, Paradise Killer treats the world lore with a light touch. Characters speak about horrible atrocities and history in a matter-of-fact way, and don't feel the need to fill you in specifically. After all, you're one of them. If you want to delve deeper into the history, there are many collectibles with small tidbits to get, and the world design itself is informed by the history. The game won't spend time to sit you down and walk you through the details. A few minor gripes I had. The map is mostly useless. It details very little and lacks the ability to create notes, which would really help with some areas I had to return to. Also, there's no penalty for asking everyone about everything, which leaves you to just selecting every option possible when talking to someone, even if it's totally unrelated, just in case they have something interesting to say. They rarely do. That said, there is an amnesiac character that just insults you every time you ask them something irrelevant, which, considering their state, is almost everything. That I very much enjoyed. So this leaves the other big factor I mentioned earlier, which has left a major impression on me. Oh, sorry, let's move it along. Screen moved. In terms of game design, you can end the game anytime you want, and you can control who is accused in the trial. After I completed the game, I decided to test how true this was, and I started a new game. 9 minutes later, I was watching the end credits. I just called the trial immediately and said the guy they had in custody did it, executed him, and went on with my life. In my primary playthrough, though, it took me a long time to get to this point. I don't quite have a timer, but I think somewhere between 15 and 20 hours of investigating. I had gathered all the possible evidence the game had. And being a gamer has taught me to do. But I don't know if it was the best move. Having the power to end the game when you feel like it is kind of interesting in its own regard. In the trial, I came to a realization. As in any murder mystery, everyone has a motive, and there are conspiracies under conspiracies. But I also liked some of these characters. Could I just ignore their crimes, therefore becoming complicit in the conspiracy myself? Yep. There's nothing stopping you from accusing or ignoring anyone. When the trial starts, the game brings up a curious text, fact or truth. But once you've presented your evidence and convicted someone of a crime, you're told your facts have become the truth. You choose the version of truth that will be accepted. You can't do it wrong. It's simply a choice you make with no in-game incentive. It's simply the player's desire to express themselves in the story. Post the trial, there are further opportunities to express yourself again, entirely optional, with no gameplay impact other than you being able to tell the story you wish to tell. I really loved my time with Paradise Killer. It gave me the twists and turns you want from a mystery, but also gave me a type of player agency that I honestly don't remember experiencing before. It's cool and unique, and I recommend it to anyone that enjoys a less guided experience. The game's available on PC on Steam and on Nintendo Switch. I played it for review on Switch, almost exclusively in handheld mode, where it performed very well. That is Paradise Killer.
Man, this sounds awesome.
It's wild.
It looks nice.
I like the color, like the sort of like neon color palette as well. It's very pleasing.
Yeah, if you look up Vaporware on YouTube, you'll just get all the music and all the visuals that this kind of thing is based on, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
But with just all the characters insane. It was interesting. Earlier in the game, I felt this is like a lot of story and there's a really diverse group of characters, but it's so otherworldly and so fantastic. It doesn't really deal with any real world issues.
Yeah.
But then when I'm reaching the end and I am literally the power to convict and execute people and choose that, it's like, oh, this actually has a lot of political commentary if you want to. You don't have to, you can. It was really interesting. I'd love to like delve into it really deep one day. I might write up a piece on it.
Yeah.
Because it's super interesting and you just craft that to what you want. You can just, I say, if you just like something, you can just ignore their crime and say, no, it's fine. But the bit that I was kind of alluring to at the end, so very, very minor spoiler, what you can do afterwards is you can go up to the inhabitants afterwards and you can still judge them because now you've got all your rights back. So you can just go up to someone and say like, I know you did it, I couldn't prove it, but shoot them in the head.
Whoa.
And as I say, there's no gameplay reason to do it. It's just like, and I'm just like,
so you can do it.
It's just so like,
it's like just agency for the player.
It made me really feel like I made a choice of who this character was and what I was going to do.
Wow.
And I actually played through the
That's
final
pretty cool.
trial 3 times just to play around with different combinations.
Well, if you're interested in playing Paradise Killer and killing your way through paradise, be sure to check that out. It's come to the end of our time, though, at Zed Games tonight. It's been a jam-packed episode, and I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. And if there's anything about Xbox or PlayStation 5, or even Paradise Killer, head over to the Zed Games Facebook page at ZedGamesAU, and you can catch back up on the news as well. But that's it from all of us here. And, on that note, thank you, everyone, and bye!
Bye!
Thanks for listening to Zed Games. If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify or follow us on social media at ZedGamesAU. See you next time.